welcome, welcome. Great to see you guys. Love you, beautiful souls, innovators and disruptors. Type in the chat if you can hear me, see me. Let's get this started. Where you're coming in from? Salt Lake City. That's awesome. Where are you coming in from, Jeff? Let's get this party started. I understand only from New York, a little bit of time. If you're from New York, you only have a little bit of time. That's just the reality. San Francisco is in the house. What's going on? I am so excited to be here. And I also know that you are spending your valuable time with me. And I respect that time. I honor that time. And I promise you, you're going to have some experiential breakthroughs in this session that your website ever again. You'll never be able to share your pitch again in the same way. So that's my promise to you. What's going on? Type in the chat where you're coming in from, because this is a collaboration. This is a conversation. The webinar today that we're talking about is these how ineffective marketing needs to be turned around, how it will be turned around into sales growth. And this is a challenge webinar for smart CEOs. And I hope you're smart. Two smart fellows, they felt smart. Three smart smellos, smart smellos. There's a tongue twister for you. Anyway, I know you guys are smart because you're here dedicating time in your business. And we're going to get into these 5 shifts that you need to make to turn your positioning around to be a lot more successful. So I'm going to be real with you. Vikas, San Jose, Naren, San Francisco. I'm going to be real with you here. That you may want to take notes. What we're going to experience today will require an open mind. It definitely will require an open mind. We're going to dive into how to turn your ineffective marketing into sales growth. This is a challenge webinar for smart CEOs. And I hope that you don't see your website like this, because a lot of CEOs see their website like that, but it really doesn't look like that from your prospective customer's point of view. Your marketing likely has a fatal flaw that we're going to uncover today. And if you're positioned the wrong way, your marketing won't work, and you're going to be spending a lot of money, if you haven't already, on marketing that doesn't work for your business. So I am really excited that you're here. Let's look at who's here. Jeff, Mirgan, Douglas, Bob, Ken, Rudy, Naren, Vikas, Deepak, Ryan. Awesome. And if you have a headache like this, where your solution is confused with solutions that are nothing like yours, then you're in the right place. If you're here and you're struggling, you and your team, to really put in just a few words the value of what you're offering, you're in the right place. All right, let's get started. We're going to turn your ineffective marketing to sales growth. This is a challenge webinar for smart CEOs. So ineffective marketing, what's all that about? Marketing is a money pit because it's being done wrong. This is a challenge webinar for smart CEOs. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things, including using AI and how to use AI, not just AI. So I believe that by 2030, there are going to be 2 kinds of businesses. There are going to be businesses using AI and businesses that are out of business. And that's why I believe if you're here today, you are smart. What did you think of the GPT website assessment? Type in the chat. Give a number between 1 to 10 if you received the GPT assessment before coming to this session. We're going to be talking today about co-intelligent marketing, because a lot of ads that organizations are doing are not profitable because what you show them when they get there doesn't make sense, it's not a no-brainer, it's a big brainer. So the story isn't really marketing. You know, marketing talks about story a lot. It is your strategy, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about how if your homepage is in love with your precious solution instead of in love with your customers, then it's going to look like that horrid creature to the left. So I want to pause here, Jeff, Bob, Ken, Vikas, Enric. I want to honor you for taking time to work in your business. This is a conversation, this is a collaboration, this is a challenge webinar. Because I know that the hype, brag marketing is not working. Surprise, surprise. Questions, type in the chat, yes or no. Have you been a bit disappointed by the marketing you're getting out of your marketer? Yes or no? Yes or no? Type in the chat, have you been disappointed by the marketing content you get out of ChatGPT? Yes or no? We're going to be talking about this and how you're using AI. Most people use ChatGPT at that base layer, but they're not building custom GPTs that are trained. and the memories that are built up there. We're going to be talking about this in this masterclass. It's not about the prompt, it's about training. And because if your training is done right, your best presentation isn't going to be your verbal presentation, it's going to be your website. And I know a lot of organizations like yours have rebranded, spent 50, 100K on their website, and it's done nothing for sales. Give me a 3 in the chat if you have spent a lot of money on rebranding your website and it has not turned anything into sales. Okay, great. I see Ryan, Vikas, Naren, and Rudy. So here's a question for you. What do you think stands in the way between your innovation, what you've built, what you're building with your team, and all your ideal prospects becoming customers and using your innovation? Type in the chat, what stands in the way? So this is a masterclass. This is a challenge. I'm going to ask you to participate. Type in the chat, what do you think stands in the way? Awareness, maybe. Positioning, yes. Knowledge. So how do they get knowledge? How do people get knowledge? How do you get knowledge? Wrong message, wrong target, wrong audience. Positioning, yes, all good points. So your message is the only thing standing in the way, and that is the idea. Today we're going to be talking about the 5 shifts that you need to make that is going to shift the message around and allow you to grow sales. The 5th shift, and when we get to it, will only work once you've made the first 4 shifts. Okay, so stay tuned for the 5th shift. It's going to blow your mind. I've had the privilege of working with smart CEOs that have really made these 5 shifts, and you can take a look and talk to these guys. They are crushing it. They are the unicorns in their industry. All right, so ground rules. The ground rules for this masterclass today is this is not for spectators. I need you to participate. Thumbs up, I need you to participate. This is for participants. Success loves speed and action. I need you to pay attention, take notes, and participate. Deal? That's ground rule. Ground number 2, I will challenge you. You will not be able to look at your homepage or speak your sales message the same again. That's going to happen here if you are paying attention. And this is a good thing, okay? There won't be a replay. This is a live conversation. There are going to be giveaways at the end. Wait till you see what we're giving away. 1, a 16-part magnetic messaging framework, which is a template to make sure you're hitting all the bases you need on your website. The 12 sales conversations that you need to make sure you're not missing a base in your sales conversations. If you miss one of these conversations, you will not close the deal. We're going to give away that template for the 12 sales conversations, born out of literally working on 4,000 successful sales presentations that have earned hundreds of millions of dollars. The 3rd thing we're going to give away is a free GPT homepage messaging evaluator that you could use and work with to hone your website if you want to for free. We're also giving away, if you stay to the end, guess what? I wrote a book. It took me 4 years to write this book. It's being published next month. There's, it's on Amazon now, but you can't buy it just yet. But I'm going to be giving to you guys who are participating today at the end a free copy of this book. I'm going to give you the link to download the PDF copy. It's called Storycraft for disruptors, innovators, game changers like you. So another ground rule, I'm not going to pitch you anything. No pitches. This is a pitch-less experience. At the end, I'm going to be offering 5 CEOs an opportunity to book a free marketing sales enablement strategy session with me and my team if you qualify. So does that sound fair? Give me a 1 in the chat if that sounds fair to you. So we've got Jeff, Mergen, Douglas, Ken, Rudy, Naren, Vikas, Deepak, Ryan, Eric, Sham, and Will. Give me a 1 in the chat. I want to see 1s if you think that sounds fair, and we can dive into the 5 shifts and get into this. Awesome. Okay, I've got to make up some time because the sound was not working. Anyway, if you are here, it's likely because you're selling an innovation, a really cool thing that's really helping people, and you're revolutionizing something in your industry. If that's a yes, give me a 1 in the chat. Just give me a 1 in the chat if that's you. Great. All right. Bad news for you, and it's not just because I'm from New York, although I am from New York. Says who that you are selling an innovation? An innovation is a self-describing word. So the good news is the world needs your solution. The world needs what you have to sell, but we can't call it an innovation because who's calling it an innovation? Who's calling it that? We are. So that's a hint to what the first, actually shift number 3 is. So who am I? Let me pause for a minute. If you don't know who I am, besides the author of that book, I'm Greg Rosner, the CEO of Pitch Kitchen. I'm also the fractional CMO for several companies. And my agency, my team offers 90-day sprints to really right size, revamp, and get marketing messaging correct. I've worked on, well, before I started Pitch Kitchen, I actually sold $35 million worth of enterprise software and services. And I learned selling that marketing sucks. Marketing really is shameful. Marketing is a waste of time and money, and if it's not done right. And I started Pitch Kitchen as a side hustle, coming from the perspective of sales, so that it's about sales enablement, helping sales have the right conversations. That's what marketing is. So I turned marketing upside down, been wildly successful since then. I am so grateful. I've had the privilege of working on about 3,000 websites, sales presentations, messaging frameworks that have earned our clients hundreds of millions of dollars. And I've also designed pitch decks that help companies get investment. And I learned a lot from that process as well about having the right conversations. And of course, there's the book. It's on Amazon starting, I think, maybe next week. Anyway, you guys are going to get a copy of it. I am so excited. I'm having a party in my house with my wife and kids and friends next week, a book launch party. Anyway, who is this for? This masterclass is for CEOs bringing in innovation to the market, CEOs committed to their vision, leaders of early stage, growth stage companies, even publicly traded companies we're working with too right now, CEOs whose success depends on getting prospects to change, and CEOs who are able to invest time and money into the business. So if this is you, you're in the right place. And notice CEOs are all over this, because I believe it's not about marketers. It's about CEOs that really are responsible for the vision and the strategy of the company. That's why these shifts are important for you to hear. Now, if this is not you, if you're not committed to your vision, you're not able to invest time and money. Clearly time, you're here, but money into the business, this is not for you. My promise to you is the next 45 minutes, we're going to talk about how to nail your sales message, even if your solution is complicated, sophisticated, and needs to be demoed. How to turn your homepage into a home run for the perfect buyers, even if your prospects weren't even looking for your solution. Why it's game over. We're talking you're fired CMOs for most marketing playbooks and what you need to do instead. How to attract ideal customers into buying conversations and lead your category, be number one in your category, even if they've never heard of your solution. And how to use AI to create a torrent of 100% on-brand content. That's right, 100, no hallucinations, without hallucinations or fancy prompting. We're going to show you how to do that in the next 45 minutes. That's my commitment to you. All right, so if you're down for that, give me a yes, heck yes there. Is this you? But first, is this you? Type that in the chat if you're down for that. So is this you? Your solution is really amazing. You have invested time, money in creating this with your team. Your customers love you, but you and your sales reps are working so hard explaining and clarifying what it is that you're selling and why they should care. It really should be a no-brainer, but it is a brainer. It's requiring a lot of brains for people to understand why they need it from you, and why they need it now. Is this you, that you have a marketer market it, spending money and time on marketing, but it isn't turning into sales, even a CMO? You've asked GPT to write you a blog post or marketing, and it was rubbish. Is that you? Have you tried that? Are you seeing that a lot of your demos aren't ending up in sales? Type in yes in the chat if any of these are. Are you seeing win rates down? Are you seeing sales teams you're supporting missing their quota? Sales cycles increasing by like 25%, and average deal sizes are decreasing. Are you seeing any of this happen? If yes, you're in the right place to have these shift conversations. Or have you read some of these books? And maybe you'll even read my book. So have you read Story Brand? Have you read This is Marketing by Seth Godin, Gap Selling? Have you read Principles, Ray Dalio? But there's a difference between knowing and doing. So if you look at your marketing, do you think that there's what you know versus what you've done, there's a disconnect there. And if so, you need to stay tuned to get these 5 shifts. And I believe you can get these 5 shifts in this discussion today. Sales reps number 1 is saying maybe we're the only. Sales rep number 2 is saying perhaps we're the best. And everyone is building sales on their relationships instead of an essential position story that everyone is singing from. So if that's you, you're in the right place. If you are spending money on a graphics person, a website person, website developers and branding people and social media people and a PPC person and spending money on marketing stuff, but you seem to be missing a single compelling story that attracts your ideal customers, then you're in the right place because we're going to get that fixed. If your sales presentation looks more like a math textbook here with white backgrounds and page numbers, it's more of a document than a real conversational presentation, you're going to get that fixed here today. If your website is using words like WTF, no, I put those words there, but creating innovative workflow technologies that drive high reliability. What the heck does that mean? Even like, what are we doing here? If you have words on your website like powerful, most trusted, innovative, there's innovative here, best in class, revolutionary, all of this is bullshit. It doesn't do anything. It's self-ascribed and does nothing. If your marketing people is using language like this, or the ChatGPT that you're using is using language like this, your marketing is failing you. You're not getting the sales you deserve. If your slides are more like a Franken deck, built over time, piece and piece, and it's not a conversation, not helping you convert. If you've got ROI calculators and case studies and competitive matrix and how it works videos, and none of it seems to be helping convert, you're in the right place to have these 5 shifts conversations. If you're thinking, gosh, how can our sales messaging be so simple? Because our solution is sophisticated. Our industry is full of experts and every deal is complicated. Every customer is unique. They have different problems. How can our messaging be simple? If you're thinking this, you have not made the shift. So listen, if you're here right now, I want to congratulate you because I've got great news for you. Really wonderful news. The good news is those are symptoms. Those are symptoms because the real problem here is that you haven't made these 5 shifts. But once you do, you're going to see these things happen. You're going to have complete confidence in every dollar you spend on marketing because it's going to turn into sales. You're going to lead your category as a unique one and only and accelerate any qualified deals in your pipeline. Your leadership team, the people you rely on, you trust to build your business, are going to be aligned, running in the same direction. You'll be able to create tons of on-brand content everywhere, every month, every day, and twice on a Sunday without hiring anybody, nobody. And 5, you're going to attract ideal prospects showing up predisposed to buy. So if you're psyched to get into these 5 shifts right now, give me a Sasha. You've joined the chat a few minutes late, but don't worry, Sasha. My audio wasn't working, and much to my shirt is wet because I was sweating so much, freaking out that my audio wasn't working. So you missed the sweat fest. Anyway, welcome, Sasha. If you're excited to get into this 5 shifts, give me a yes or a heck yes or let's go, brother, or let's go, sister. Let's jump into this. Give me something in the chat if you are ready. All right, let's go, Will. Let's do it. Mergen, go, go, go. Yes, Vikas. Yes, Naren. Now we're talking. Yes, let's do it. Woo! All right, put the drink down and go. Full speed ahead. All right, the first shift you need to do is you need to lead a freaking movement. Lead a movement. Stop with the hype and brag selling and lead a movement. Now, what do I mean by lead a movement? So if you're selling an innovation, you are selling innovation. What does your innovation challenge? What does it challenge? Type in the chat, what does it challenge? So if it challenges something, that challenges the enemy of the situation. Like, what's the enemy that you and your customers both have in common? What are you challenging? Type in the chat. All right, so let's talk about this. Look at what Salesforce.com did in 2010. They led a movement, they led a rebellion against software. Do you remember that? Salesforce.com, this Dreamforce happening right now as I speak. They started with leading a movement against software and to the cloud, bringing people to the cloud. This was one of the first companies that did this, and they crushed it. They became a category of one. HubSpot did this with inbound marketing. DocuSign, ending agreement chaos, leading to the devil and the villain of the story. We're going to be talking about this because what you need to be clear on in leading a movement is what you want to change, what you want your customers to change. So the old way of pitching is saying, well, forget about changing. You need to work with us because we're the best and we have the best solution. And here's why. That's the old way. It doesn't work anymore. The new way is the old way is dead. And the new approach that our solution, our product, our services take will help you achieve your goal because it is taking the new way. So Chris Orleb uses the effective nexus as an idea, like your message here on leading a movement needs to be polarizing, and that's good. It needs to be clear. It needs to shake their confidence and perhaps, well, maybe software isn't the way to go. That's what Salesforce.com did. It needs to change how your buyer thinks about the problem. So type in the chat, what are you rebelling against? Let's read what we got here. Type in the chat, what are you rebelling against? Vikas, the old way of operations. Great. Type in the chat, Vikas, what is that old way? Be specific. What does that old way look like? What does it feel like? What does it taste like? Type it in the chat. Will, our travel guest, challenges the travel industry norm and legacy offer. So Will, what does that look like? What does that experience feel like? The old way. Let's get really clear. So we're going to talk about and show you examples of how leading a movement actually helps businesses provide that thought leadership and that attraction to ideal customers that are already thinking that the old way doesn't work for them. Manual lawyer for maintenance, inspection, safety. Very good. Good work there. So what change does your innovation require? What's your polarizing statement? That's something you need to be clear on. Simon Sinek says, in order to stand out, we have to know what we stand for. What do you stand for? What are you telling your customers to stop doing? Stop doing what? Stop doing the old what? Stop the old way of operations. Stop the what maintenance, the bad inspection, stop the something in complex industrial facilities. What are you saying to stop? And what are you saying they need to start doing instead? It's the specific nature of this leading a movement that makes it clear. Salesforce said, no software, kill the software, stop using software. That's specific. It can't be just like rainbows and sunshine. It has to be specific. If it's not interactive, it's not working. Tiled is making it very clear what the old way is versus the new way. Cognition, the old way here is spreadsheets. Goodbye, spreadsheets. Hello, connected information. A lot of you may be selling technology that is helping people by bringing it to the cloud. And it's about getting away from the old way of doing things. Cognition nailed it here like this. In my industry, in marketing, I'm basically leading a movement to help my customers stop hype marketing because it doesn't work. It's bullshit. And especially in markets that are flooded with solutions, you need to lead a movement instead. Lead with the strategy. Lead with that thought leadership. The people who aren't enrolled in your journey, they're going to ignore you anyway, says Seth Godin, 100%. So I believe that sales is an act of leadership. It's your job as a CEO. Everyone in your company is probably selling in some capacity, is to lead your customers to the movement that they need to make, the change that they need to make in order to be successful. So lead an uprising, call it something. If you want to be the market leader, what would your TED Talk be about? And I don't advise doing a TED Talk because nobody takes any action from watching TED Talks, but TED Talks are starting with a vision of what a world where what did you say? Cloud operations would look like this, or a world where investment advisors would be this way, or world where managing infrastructure would look like this. So getting really clear on what that world looks like is telling the story about that movement. Look what Airbnb did with Live Anywhere. They're leading a movement towards a vision where instead of being stuck in your home all the time, maybe you want to live somewhere else for a while in somebody else's home. So it works really well. The Live Anywhere is aspirational. If you can consider some of the hashtags that Live Anywhere, that's Airbnb, Make Your Day is TikTok, Trust Your Source, Wall Street Journal, Just Do It, Nike, Write with Confidence, I think that's Grammarly, Make America Great Again, I think it's Donald Trump, of course, I know it is, I mean, pretty famous guy, Hit Your Number, Zoom Info. By the way, I'm not a Donald Trump fan myself, but I'm a big fan of good marketing. So I see that here. So by looking at all these hashtags, these are all movements that have something in common. What do you see here? What do all of these have in common? See if you can find the commonality here from a underlying structure perspective. Some call this a buyer's mission statement, but what do they all have in common? Type in the chat. Remember, this is a masterclass, and I'm going to challenge you here. So work with me and type in the chat, what do all of these have in common? Yes, Ken. Nailed it, Ken. 100% action. It's action to make a change. And it's about making a change. That's what leading a movement is about. It's not about selling your product, pushing your product. It's about leading a movement to a better place. So all of these start with a verb. Imagine that. Start, eat, find, own, hit, make, live, trust, write. All of these are verbs. That's why they're actions. So, Zoom Info, whether you like the company or not, good marketing, hit your number. They're not saying buy our data. Buy our data. That's not what they're saying. They're saying hit your number. It's coming from the voice of a guide that is helping a hero who wants to be successful. And it's speaking to that. It's excellent marketing. Dominate your market. So all those start with verbs. That's great. So marketing is about action. Marketing is about change, not hype. So what's your hashtag? If you have a hashtag already, type it in the chat. I'll give you some critique on it. Tell you it's great on a scale of 1 to 5. If you don't have a hashtag, just give it a whirl. It'll evaporate after this webinar is over. And I'll give you some critique on that. So also type in the hashtag that you'd like to use, sort of a tagline, but also give me next to that what your business is. So I have some context. So like Just Do It makes no sense if you don't know it's coming from an athletic wear company. So make faster decisions, Ken. I like that. I need to know the context. Build any software. I like that. Need to know the context. Karen, Hero Busters. I don't know what that means at all. Connected subcontractor. I don't like that because that's a noun. That's not a verb. It's not asking people to do anything. It's describing a state, a fixed static state. Trust through transparency. That also describes a fixed state, not a change. So if you're going to lead a movement, it needs to actually have action in it. Real quick, Jeff Aronson, founder of EquipX, before he made these shifts, had confusing marketing content. Pipeline was really thin, letting key partners and investors down, really worried about the business, losing deals to no decision. After the effects, this is the before website, afterwards, tripled the revenue. Pipeline got 6x in just 4 months. Confidence in marketing. Partners are able to sell easily now. So grateful that the business vision is materializing. Big heart to Jeff. He is crushing it in his industry. This is what his website looks like now. And it really is great. It speaks to exactly what their customers want and what that transformation story is about, turning underutilized equipment into an optimized health system. They're selling to hospitals, a very sophisticated system. This is another really great example of an old way versus new way comparison on the website, where you would basically take your mouse and run it over. Like, are you interested in speed to close or workflow? It shows you a contrast between your current situation, how you're currently doing it, and how it can be done. So if this makes sense, the first shift that you need to lead a movement, give me a 1 in the chat. So Rudy, I would say no, logistics isn't a good statement. That's a noun. Logistics is a thing, not a call to do something. You got to get people to do something. Get on the dance floor. Yeah, get on the dance floor. Who said that? You got to get up. Who's that singer? Not Chuck Berry. What's his name? He's Sex Machine. Come on, I can't believe I can't remember his name right now. Anyway, got to tell people what they got to do. Lead a movement. I'm glad that makes sense. So Tricia, CEO for Behavior Science Technology, they tripled their sales because of making these shifts. And not only that, they recently have been acquired at the terms that they love. So it's really great to see when smart CEOs are making these shifts. It's all possible. All right, let's get on to number 2, the second shift. Start with the problem. Now, what do I mean by this? Why not start with your solution? Anybody? Type in the chat. Why not start with your solution? Here's a picture for you. Why not start with your solution? It's hidden in this picture somewhere. Where's Waldo? It's hidden in your picture. Why not start with your solution? How great it is that it's an innovation. Why not start there? Yeah, it may not matter to them. That's right, Naren. No one's interested in you. They're interested only in them. Yes, Shyam. Naren, we need to understand their problem. Yeah, let me pause here for a minute. And I want to make sure that if you guys can't stay and you need to book the time, that there's the offer that just popped up. So we'll be able to do that at the end of this, but just click on over to the chat. The offer is there. Anyway, but you're right. It's all noise. And then the AI enabled market landscape, you know, who here's using AI in their business? Type in AI in the chat. So if you're using, like in your marketing language, that you're AI enabled or AI powered, that's a recipe for failure. You will not be in business by 2028, guaranteed, because the AI enabled market landscape is so vast, and every business is AI enabled. In fact, if there's a business not using AI by 2029, they will be out of business. So this is not the way to differentiate. So you don't want to start with your solution, because where's your solution in a market that's flooded with solutions? It's just noise. Nobody can see it. Exactly. It's noise. And, you know, people, and maybe you've noticed this too. Give me a, I don't know, type in vitamin or type in vitamin in the chat if you've noticed it. People are twice as more likely to buy something to relieve pain than to gain something. Have you noticed this in your own experience? So, you know, selling painkillers is better than selling vitamins. And even if you are selling something that's helping people improve, starting with the problem works a whole shit ton better. Now, if you're starting with the solution, it doesn't answer these 3 questions. Why change? Why change now? And why change with you? And that's why starting with the problem makes sense. The old way, you'd say, well, we help companies generate more sales. That's starting with the solution. Our solution helps companies generate more sales. The new way is we help companies who are struggling with sales with the following, with this approach. Does this make sense? Type in the chat that starting with the problem comes through right from the get-go. You're starting out with an engagement, with an understanding and empathy to the problem, 100%. So if you think about it, this is what I call the buyer's belief curve. And this is in my book as well. So the idea here, I've turned Jeffrey Moore's Crossing the Chasm upside down, where this is from the customer's perspective, where on the left side of the curve, the risk of changing is just too great. The status quo is working for them. On the right side, the risk of doing nothing is too great for them, and they better figure out something fast or bad things are going to happen. Now, you need to ignore most of the people on this. You need to educate people climbing up that mountain, influence people at the top, and anyone that's over the hump, you need to encourage them that if the risk that they have for doing nothing is going to really, you know, not bode well for them. This is what we call in the book the buyer's belief curve. It's essentially the same idea, where you're going to find people, whenever you talk to a prospect, your team talks to a prospect, finding out exactly where they are on what they already believe about their current situation. Now, yes, you can encourage and influence their belief on where they are in their journey. You can influence that, but I would suggest you ignore most of these people, educate some of them, encourage few, and really double down on the people who really realize that they have to make a change. This is an example of a terrible website, Accounting for the Pace of Change. Like, what does that even mean? It's kind of cute, but it doesn't mean anything. This is the after. It's really specific. It's about helping people, organizations, CEOs, in fact, get the right accounting advice, compliance advice, financial advice. That's what Bennett Thrasher does. They're a great mid-tier accounting firm based in Atlanta. So type in the comments now, what is the number one problem that you solve? Type in the comments now to see. This is a little bit of a test to see if you have made this shift. And if you haven't made this shift, it will be so apparent by what you type in the chat. Type in the chat now, what's the number one problem that you solve? So time. I don't know what that means, time. So what do you mean? You solve time? Like you have a time machine, Mergen? What does that mean? Ken, solve elegantly by simplifying complexity. Solve elegantly by simplifying. So simplifying complexity. Ken, are you sitting for this, Ken? Simplifying complexity is not a problem. What is simplifying complexity? That's something that happens in the future. That may be your goal, but that's not a problem. So Ken, go back to the drawing board. Karen, take cloud operations pain away from engineering. So Naren, I'm sorry, Naren. I'm going to give you an F on that one. Take cloud operations pain away from engineering. Is that a current situation or is that a future goal? That's a future goal. Will, Hal Smith is solving the problem of managing and coordinating group travel, which is often stressful and disorganized. So group travel is stressful and disorganized. That's a problem. Rudy, ingest data to visualize analytics. I don't know what that means. It's not a problem. It's not nothing. Accelerating their success. I don't know what that is, Eric. So maybe that's something from before. That's not a problem. That is a future goal. That's not a problem. Shyam, people not able to achieve good investments returns. Shyam, that is a problem. Thank you. You're not able to get good returns on your investment. People are not getting that. That's a problem, a present experiential problem. Sasha, the pitfalls of operating your data in the cloud. So what are the pitfalls? Like, you can't just say there are problems migrating data to the cloud. Well, what are those? Like, what's the number one problem? So Sasha, I'm sorry, we're giving you F on that one. Eric, CEOs are struggling to create a successful business. So that's not a problem. They're struggling to meet their goal, but their problem looks like what? So listen, I'm going to stop here. Y'all basically average. I'm going to have a curve here on this test. You're failing because this is super hard. As an insider, you're a CEO. I get it. You're on the inside building your innovation. You're steeped in solution land. But unless you can make this shift where you're focused on and in love with the problems, specific problems your customers are having, you won't make the shift. You won't be able to get the sales that your organization deserves. Because if you can do this one thing in your messaging, in your marketing, your customers will automatically think you've got the best solution because you understand them. In their minds, they're gonna be like, yeah, you understand me. You got me. That's right. Hell yes, you understand my situation. You must have a solution to this. But if you don't do this, if you're focused on your solution, you're gonna fail in this. So cash flow problem. So what does a cash flow problem look like more specifically? I would say organization CEOs that can't make the investments that they need because of a cash flow problem. So maybe cash flow problem is more root. So that's getting better, actually. So Mergen, I skipped you. Reduce time to get additional revenues. I'm sorry, Mergen, we're giving you F on that one because reduce time to get additional revenues is a what? It is a goal, G-O-A-L. It's a goal. It's not a problem. So a lot of people have problems with this, difficulties, but this is a shift that you need to make. And it's hard, I get it, but you need to do it because you can't just give facts to people. Do facts change people's minds? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do facts change people's minds? They don't. So you can't tell people why they should buy your solution with facts. And nobody cares about your backstory or your why. Nobody cares about your why. Sorry, Simon Sinek, but nobody really cares about your why. What do people care about? They care about their problems and their goals, and you need to just be talking to them about that, starting with the problem. So this is a principle that's in chapter 3 of the book. People believe in the things that they themselves decide, not the things that you tell them. And this is absolutely true. That's why if you can describe their problem better than they can, this is tied to an idea in the Challenger sale that I got maybe 20 years ago. But this is tied to the idea that if you can describe their problem better than they can, they'll automatically believe that you have the best solution. So if this makes sense to you, screenshot this, share this online if you want. This is really powerful stuff. Does this make sense to you? Type in the chat, makes sense, if it does. Naren, engineering is not able to accelerate product velocity due to lack of data and automation. So the only problem I see in there, Naren, is maybe lack of data or no data, or they're blind. They're blind. They don't have data, and they're instead of lack of automation, they're doing things manually, which costs time and costs money. You see what I just did there, Naren? I'm trying to dig through this solution talk and get to the problem, which is much more palpable, much more attractive. It's magnetic. That's what's on the minds of your customers. If this makes sense, give me a make sense in the chat. Yes, hell yes, heck yes. Give it to me in any language you want. If you speak Spanish or French, Japanese, if this makes sense, I want you guys to make the shift. All right, we got a yes, Eric, Ken, Jeff, Mirgan, Sasha. Awesome. So Warren Johnson, CEO, real quick, of ScribeX, innovative company. Before the shift, stagnant growth. Good salespeople were leaving. Like, that's tragedy when you've got great salespeople and they're leaving because they're not supported with really good marketing. The value of the innovation wasn't getting across, missing forecasts. They went from 137 customers to nearly 3,000 in 12 months. And they did that through brand messaging makeover, positioning shifts, website revamp, sales presentation redesign, and every conversation that happened after that. Here's another example from Manish. He basically built a technology that was bootstrapped, that's offering this peer-to-peer fulfillment network to compete with Amazon Prime. And they've grown exponentially since 2022 after making these shifts. So it's really hard to do this, and I get it. And I saw how many of you failed the, like, what's the biggest problem you solve test? Because you're stuck on the inside. There are blind spots. Marketers are going to just market all day. You're going to pay them money, and they're going to take your money to make you feel really great about your product, but it's not going to turn into sales. They're not going to take an opposing view. And a lot of wasted money being spent on bad websites. And I know a lot is at stake. I think I saw in the New York Times, almost 3,000 venture-backed companies went belly up in last year. And I get sometimes these notices from companies that just wind it down. Great ideas, great products, but answer one question in the chat. Does the best product win? Yes or no? Type in the chat, does the best product win? No, it doesn't. Definitely not. So the best salesperson won't save you either. The best salesperson won't, because they're going to leave if they're not supported. And your fancy GPT prompts won't save you, because if you're running on the base GPT, it's not going to save you because it's been trained on the shitty marketing from 2010 and 2011. And we're going to talk about that in the 5th shift. So if this makes sense that you need to start with the problem, give me a make sense in the chat. I love you guys, and all hearts here. I absolutely love you guys, and I'm sorry to give you F's before, but I'm here. This is a masterclass, and I'm trying to help you break through in your sales and your growth, and that's what I do. That's what we do here. All right, so let's get to number 3. Make your customer the hero. So if they're the hero, what does that make you? Type in the chat. What does that make you if they're the hero? Everybody wants this. Yeah, make the customer the hero. What does that make you? And if they're the hero, who's the villain of this story? Like, do you guys know who the villain is? So, like, don't talk to me about, like, yeah, let's make the customer the hero if you really haven't thought through, like, the whole story thing, because You got to get clear on the story thing. So what is your marketing in love with? I think it comes down to this, yeah, the butler, Ken the butler, the director, that makes you the director. I would say, no, you're not the director. You're probably another role there. It makes you're the trusted guide, the trusted advisor. Your brand is helping them make the change. That's really your position in the market. So just be honest in the chat. What is your homepage in love with? What's your homepage obsessed with? Type in the chat. What's it obsessed with? This is the key test of have you made your customer the hero or not? What is your homepage obsessed with? Type in the chat. Currently solutions and what we do. Yes, the product. Yeah, sad. I got a sad face from Sham. Yeah, because you got it right away, didn't you? What is it in love with? So, CEOs say, yeah, let's do that. Let's make our customer the hero. Marketers like, absolutely. Give me a chunk load of money, buckets of money, and I can do that for you. Reality is nobody has an idea of how to do that. Nobody does. I mean, a few people do. I do. My team does. Most marketers don't. And it's very easy to tell by looking at your homepage and seeing what's it in love with. What's it in love with? And if it's in love with your solution to a prospect, it really looks like the being on the left. I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. I don't know what his name is, but he's pretty ugly. Anyway, this is an example of a website that looks pretty ugly. And it looks ugly to me, not just because the color's blue is ugly. It's a fine color blue. But bringing clarity to risk, first of all, is like, what is this talking about? And they're making themselves the hero here. The old way is to make yourself the hero. Why? We're the best. We're the best. Buy us now. We're like this amazing innovation, revolutionary. Buy it now. We're the best. The new way is how we make you better. And that's a fundamental voice shift. So the voice in all of your marketing needs to be of the guide helping the hero overcome the obstacles and be successful using a certain strategic approach. That approach is what your product or solution it takes and confers advantage to people to take. Now, that's the test. Here's an example, IPMD. What are they selling? AI human interaction? What? Creating a better world for tomorrow? Like, really? Like, that's what's on their website? It was on their website until they made a change. This is the change afterwards, IPMD. Oh, what are they doing? Giving doctors superpowers? Bringing emotional artificial intelligence to patient encounters using a telemedicine platform? Oh, I see. So the doctor is getting some idea of if the patient is sad and depressed or anxious based on some AI cues. Very interesting. I want in. When I say I, you mean their customer does. So much better than before. So this is before, this is after, and you get it. If you make your customer the hero, what happens is you are basically positioning yourself as a voice, as a persona, yourself meaning the company, as something, a solution, something along the journey between the current situation where they're experiencing problems, they're doing things in a way that's having them suffer, to they want to get to a future state, a goal place where things are much better for them. Does this make sense? Type in the chat, makes sense, that you really, I don't care what you're selling, your whole marketing voice needs to help them change. Help them change is what you really need to do. And there's this buyer's belief curve again. That's what you need to do. What sellers and marketers need to do is help them change. And you do this by involving yourself in your customer's story of change. It's their story. Yes, you have a story too, but when you're selling something to someone, your story doesn't matter. What matters is their story. And their story is they're dealing with a freaking problem in their business and they're suffering in that problem. And you've got something that could help them. And the only way you're going to do that is by involving yourself as the guide in that story of change. And when I say involving yourself, it has to come through as a shift that translates into every word, in every pitch, in every email, in every LinkedIn post, in every video, on every page of your website. All right, so we all know Buzz Lightyear, and this is the kind of thing we're talking about. My company provides a unique, complex solution leveraging revolutionary technology, blah, blah, blah. And when Buzz realizes he's just saying the same thing as everybody else, It doesn't work. My recommendation is don't make excuses for your homepage. Turn your homepage into a conversion site where it really has all the elements, the building blocks for their belief buy-in as they are scrolling very quickly in 9 seconds. I can go to your website and I can tell, does it have these sections on it that allows me to understand what you're selling, who you're selling it to, what do you want me to do? Do you understand my problem? Do you work with people like me? What is your solution? What is your authority and credibility? That's what you're going to get, by the way. At the end, you're going to get this template to see how many of these bases you've covered. So these are some quick examples of great websites that are using the magnetic messaging framework that's in the book, but I'm not going to go through them now because we really just don't have time. But suffice to say that these bases need to be covered. They need to be covered or you're going to lose people. Your website will just be a brochure, but it won't be a conversion site. Something simple as your call to action, those shitty call to actions like get started, learn more, that doesn't work. You got to say, get up on the dance floor, people. You got to say exactly what you want them to do. I think it was James Brown. It was James Brown that said, get up on the dance floor. Get up, get on up. Anyway, subscribe now. Get your impact assessment. Schedule your session. Get expert recommendations. The more specific you are with the call to action, the easier it is for people to click. Does that make sense? This is simple, but it has to do with the voice that you're using and the clarity in which you are using that voice on your website. So, by the way, I've got this, this offer to you guys. 5 CEOs here, qualified CEOs, can book a free strategy session with me and my team. And that's the QR code. You can snap it now. You can also see in the offer on the upper right-hand corner of the screen, you can book that. So I think I mentioned Patricia before. She is crushing it. This is an example of a LinkedIn post that she did. She said, set up a call with me today. And, there's this messaging, stop doing this bad thing and start doing this good thing. And, then she sent me an email saying she posted this and within a few minutes booked a call with a top ABA org. So words matter. Messaging, positioning matters. You say the wrong things, you're not going to get the business. So making customer to hear, this has to do with the voice that comes through all your marketing. If that voice is clear and written down, like this is how we're communicating, this is the position we're taking, then you're going to be successful. So does that make sense? Type in the chat. Hey, Deepak, what's going on? You joined. You missed the first 2 shifts. Hope you got the third. Does that make sense? So quick take positioning. If you want me, if we have time at the end, to give some specific suggestions on your homepage, type in your URL in the chat and we'll come back to it. All right, number 4. Number 4, name your category. This is the 4th shift, and we're gonna get to the 5th shift. The 5th shift is the most powerful shift. It's gonna blow your mind. I can't wait to get to it. But first, the 4th shift, name your category. So, you've seen change. I'm like, 50 something. You've seen categories of telephones, mobile phones, smartphones, who knows what's coming next. But there's one thread here that stayed, which is the phone. Phone stayed, but it's typically a prefix. And, Apple computing's been around for a while, but spatial computing is new. And they added that prefix on to create a category, to be a category leader. Apple also created this idea of, instead of AI, Apple Intelligence. It's Apple's approach to intelligence to make it for the rest of us. It's brilliant. Comfort ownership. This is for a much smaller company, but they're called Comfort Connect. And they're selling an option. Instead of buying your equipment, you are buying comfort. It's essentially a subscription service for equipment. So you're owning comfort instead. Conversational intelligence. This is a multi-billion-dollar category that Gong.io and Chorus are fighting for. So the idea of naming your own category is to create a game that you're going to win at. And how do you beat Bobby Fischer? You play him any game but chess. And if you look at what some other successful companies have done, where they've created, ReadyWorks has created smart forms as a category instead of paper forms or checklists. Clipper's created video intelligence as a category instead of video libraries, which is what companies have now. Information-driven approach versus document-driven approach. So Cognition coined a category of an approach to document for regulatory documents. Intelligent recovery is also an approach that is a category aspect. Collaborative care organization is an approach to healthcare that's different than a PPO. PPO versus a CCO. Helvextra Health created this category. So if you look at some other companies here on the screen, from Dropbox to Clear Metal, these companies have been smart with smart CEOs, and they have created categories. And if you look at the way they did it, the rubric, they essentially put a prefix or a word in front of an existing category to make it specific to the angle or the aspect or the approach or the method that makes their solution the best in the industry. So like predictive logistics instead of logistics, or talent relationship marketing instead of relationship marketing. It's very specific, it's niche. Instead of monetization, it's data monetization. So type in the chat, do you know what your unique categories? Have you created a category yet? If not, this is on your homework assignment list here. What is your unique category? Type it in the chat. And then we'll move on to the fifth shift, which is going to blow your mind. Investment intelligence. Oh, I love that. I don't know what it is, but I love it. That sounds great. Type in the chat, anyone. Name your category. What categories have you created? That is certainly a shift that you can make. All right, so as you're typing in that, we're going to talk about the fifth shift here. The fifth shift, and let's say who we got. We got Jeff, Mirgan, Rudy, Vikas, Ryan, Naren, Eric, Will, Bob, and Shyam. All right. So question for you. This is the fifth shift. This is the fifth shift, which is the secret weapon. The fifth shift is the secret weapon, and you got to get this. The fifth shift is, do you have a core messaging framework document? This is an aspect. This is like the first step of the shift. Yes or no? Type, oh, I like that, on-trip guest intelligence. So many businesses, the CEOs don't have a sales marketing messaging framework document. Who cares? Nobody knows what they need. But in the future of AI, this is why you need it. Have you been disappointed by the marketing content you get out of ChatGPT? Give me a yes or no, or maybe on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being awesome. What number would you give it? Yeah. Yeah, if Rudy gives a 4, what number? 7.5. Okay, so the reality is prompts don't work. They're hit or miss, and they are based off the base GPT that isn't trained. And it's because GPT has been trained on billions and billions of words. And I like to say 2015 called, they want their lingo back. And if you've used any GPT at all, or any AI, have you seen any words on the screen that the GPT has a preponderance of using? Yes or no? Do you see like delve, foster, realm? Do you recognize any of these words? These are words that GPT has been trained on, because it's been trained on billions and billions of words, often in shitty marketing. Even from companies like Enron. GPT is like an apprentice marketer that's been trained on billions and billions of marketing words from the 2010s. And that's why you're seeing words like this. So it's really not very good. A lot of marketers and CEOs and organizations are struggling to use it for marketing because out of the gate, it's not working for them. So the idea is to get AI to become a marketing expert in your brand voice. But how do you do that? This is what the secret weapon is. It's a 3-step process. A fractional CMO will unlock 1 year of strategic marketing in 90 days at a fraction of the cost. Refine your story through expert facilitated interviews of leadership customers using the most effective frameworks. Transform your homepage, your sales deck, marketing messaging to be problem-centric and compelling. And then use the finished framework to pre-train your custom GPT that you'll keep private and share it with everybody in your company to generate oodles of 100% on-brand content. Will be your co-intelligent marketer. That's it. That's the secret here. Now, if you notice this sales enablement ladder in month 2 of the 90 days, we create this GPT in month 2, and that's only after the validation interviews and the framework and the messaging, and these problem-centric stories are nailed down. Because once you do that, and once you train the GPT with answers to all these questions, like who are they? What do they want? What is their problem? Their number one problem? What do they already believe around this issue? What are the triggers that makes the status quo intolerable? If you could really answer these questions that are on this screen, we do this through that first month, this creates the knowledge, the insight that trains the GPT. It essentially creates a document, a PDF that you upload, or that we can upload for you, and creates literally a free or almost free GPT that will be a co-intelligent marketing agent that will work for everybody in your organization to produce everything from blogs to emails to proposals to slide presentations to white papers to books to thought leadership, everything, and it'll all be perfect. It'll all be on brand. If you don't believe me, it's because you haven't tried it. You don't know yet, but it works. So remember, we talked about most people are using ChatGPT 4.0 at the bottom, and they're prompting it to try to get good results, and the results are shitty. It's not working for them. So you need to custom train a GPT with this document, with this 20-page document that I showed you that comes out of the insights that are built. And then you chat with a particular GPT, and you can have chat memory on that, and maybe one chat is just around emails and one chat is just around other marketing material. But you can create several GPTs, and this is virtually free. Very few companies know how to do this and are doing this now. This is secret weapon stuff, breakthrough stuff. But I think by 2028, every company is going to have AI agents doing this in marketing. You need to do this now to have an advantage. I love this meme where there's your company and there's your marketer, but the GPT trained on your solution is really what you need to do next. So I'm curious, type in the chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate yourself in using AI yourself for your business? So we got a 10. So Shyam, let me ask you, is what we're saying here, does this make sense? What we're talking about training a GPT based on the answers to all those questions. And if you've been using any time spending creating GPTs or creating AIs, you'll realize the value in that. Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Shyam, for that vote of confidence. So, your presentation that you have now needs to be a set of conversations. And this is a little bit of a pivot, but, presentations are often very bad because they're all about presenting solutions. Instead, you need a presentation. And if you spend time looking at really great presentations, it's about setting slides as conversations, conversational guides. So we don't have a lot of time to spend on this section, but I'm going to give away to you a slide presentation outline that allows you to break down your presentation in 3 parts. Very natural. Let's talk about your challenges. Let's talk about industry challenges, the solution that we're talking about, and the path to getting you to where you want to go. It's such a beautiful and natural 3-part presentation. You're going to get that here. So just to recap, the secret weapon is a fractional CMO is going to refine your story through expert facilitated interviews, going to transform your homepage, your primary communication material, and use the finished framework to pre-train your GPT to generate all this content. So Naren, I see looks like you need to drop. That's fine. And you'll get the Audible copy as well. Actually, you won't get Audible. You get the PDF for free today. Anyway, so Masood, he was really frustrated with sales were declining. 30 demos to 1 sale, like, oh my gosh, like thumbs down for that. Large sales team turnover, anxious about limited financial runway. After he made the shift, this is the before, they were selling what? Kubernetes application resiliency. Like, what are they selling? They moved to leading a movement. It's the movement towards intelligent recovery. The old way is just data backup and recovery. This is about intelligent recovery. It works. And afterwards, tripled at bats, doubled their win rate in 2 months. New salespeople are closing deals. And I'm just so delighted that their business has turned around. So I know I promised a lot in the hour, how to nail your sales message, even if your solution is complicated, how to turn your homepage into a home run, why it's game over. We talked about that from most marketing playbooks, how to attract ideal customers into buying conversations and lead your category by creating your category, and how to attract ideal customers. That's done by starting with the problem, and how to use AI to create, really how to use AI to create a torrent of 100% on-brand content. I shared with you exactly how to do that here. So just to recap what you need to do to win, you got to lead a movement. You need to start with the problem, make your customers the hero. You need to name your unique category and use the secret weapon. So that's what you got to do. So now let's say you've got a choice to make. You can go it alone or you can get expert help. And if you spend this much time with us to this point, I would advise you to get some help. You can snap that QR code here. And this is what I have for you. I've set aside 45-minute Zoom calls with you and my team to really give you some personalized sales and marketing gap feedback, to get specific recommendations and get a game plan to rocking this and getting you sales, a lot more sales. So this is absolutely free. It's if you qualify, and we'll talk about qualification in a second. But first, it's giveaway time, my favorite part of this. So we're going to give away these 3 things. The magnetic messaging framework. I'm going to give that away now. Up on the right-hand corner, you should be able to download the magnetic messaging framework, and that's the template for your website. And now I'm going to put in the chat here the link to the 12 sales conversations that open minds and close deals. I'm putting that in the chat now. There's the link for that. And you can click on that and you can see the 12 conversations. And if you build a sales presentation around the sales conversation, these bases, you're going to definitely win a lot more deals, because these are essential bases you got to cover. And then the last, no, not the last, I'm going to give away the book in a minute. This is a URL I'm putting in the chat now, which is the GPT homepage messaging evaluator. This is also free for you to use. You basically talk to the GPT, give it your website. It's going to go through the website and just check it piece by piece. What is it missing? What does it need to have? And this is a tool that we use at Pitch Kitchen to help identify quickly where the gaps are. And now for the book. Here is the book link. So this is like 137 pages, I think it is. I can't believe how many pages it is. This is the book. I'm putting the link in here in the chat. This is the book called Storycraft, not witchcraft or tradecraft or Minecraft. This is Storycraft. So Storycraft is the art of telling great stories, and it's for disruptors, for innovators, for game changers like you. And it really is on the shoulders of giants here. So I studied what Steve Jobs has done, certainly for Apple, as well as in the last 4 years, used examples of winning customers that we've worked with and how they've been able to disrupt their industries and really crush it. And so I don't know if you noticed, but the "You Belong Here," maybe I'm going to get sued by Apple for this, but I put a picture of Steve Jobs. Actually, it's his hand and his black turtleneck. I don't know if you saw that, but the idea is that I believe that all of you here can be like Steve Jobs. You're in business to bring an innovation to help your customers, help the world be a better place. That's why you're doing what you do, just like he was, I believe. And so you belong there. And the Storycraft work that we do, that I do, is all about helping you make the world a better place, as I'm trying to do that as well for me, my family. And so that's kind of my mission. So if you have any questions, comments, please type that in the chat. If you're able to access everything, if you're able to book a meeting, okay, just let me know. I would say now, if you don't hire an outside expert, you're going to struggle to do this alone. Marketers aren't paid to take an opposing view. They're paid to just create the sunshine pump and make you feel really good about your product, but they're not going to take an opposing view. Most of them will not. Most of them will go back and forth. If you don't hire an outside expert, you're going to go back and forth between good opinions. You're not going to know what lands unless you have a rubric and a method for validation of these ideas. You won't likely be using proven positioning frameworks. And proven positioning frameworks are ones that I have studied and I've experimented with and I've applied. I know which ones work and which ones don't. Solution-driven idea pool instead of problem-driven. And that happens all the time. It's all about how great the product is instead of the problems that it solves. Stuck with inside baseball. I see this a lot of inside baseball, a lot of acronyms, a lot of language that is so expert, that it often doesn't work when you're selling to high level or C-level people, and continue to waste money on marketing that doesn't work. And these are all the things that happen if you don't hire an expert. Anyway, any questions here? Any comments? I hope this was valuable to you guys. I hope that you have made some of the shifts in this conversation. And if not, I hope you'll work on them so that you can be successful. Any questions, comments, observations? You're welcome, Mergen. If I were to say to you, which one of the shifts made the biggest impact to you? Which one of those 5 you think like, wow, I never thought of that before, or wow, I really need to do some work on that, or wow, that secret weapon using AI to have a free marketer that's writing stuff on brand. I haven't really thought about that. Like, I'd like to hear your honesty. Which one of these 5 shifts do you think is like going to help you move the biggest needle? Move the needle the biggest, move the needle the most. All nice. Educating. What do you mean by educating? Oh, this was an educating session. Great. Naren, very valuable, very useful. We look forward to a free marketing session. Great. Thanks, Naren. Mergen. Guys, you guys are awesome. I love you. I'm going to get hearts. Love you, beautiful souls. You're making the world a better place with your products, and you're here today because you want to get the message out. And you know as well as I know that that's the only thing standing in the way between your ideal customers and your products, your services. So with that, I want to thank you and wish you well. Sorry this ran over time. It's a lot longer than I thought, but we had audio problems to start. Anyway, guys, God bless. Keep on rocking in the free world. We'll see you soon.